Okay, so we're going to be using Zipforms for all your contract documents until AAR finishes this migration to Docusign. Zipforms is going to be our go-to. The forms are nice and clean for those, some of you still use them, and it's a pretty good platform to use. So the first thing that we need to do is connect our Zipform account to our Docusign room. I would just get in a habit of always starting with KW Command, because everything starts with Command. Command connects to Docusign rooms. Docusign rooms connects to Zipforms. If you jump in the middle and start somewhere else, we're going to break some connections as far as back to the basic folders, which are called opportunities in Command. So the first thing we need to do is connect Zipform to Docusign. So the way that you're going to get to Docusign on anything, if you start from Command, is just click on one of your opportunities, and we're gonna work on this in next and show you how to create the opportunity. I've already created these, and then we're just gonna pick one. It doesn't really matter. So this one here is an opportunity that I created. I haven't connected it to Docusign yet because it says start a transaction. If I had started it, it would say go to this transaction. So we're going to hit start a transaction, and you can see it's 123 Main Street. So here's 123 Main, and if you look, this is what I had open before, and 123 Main is not here. So if I refresh this screen, it's going to show up as a room. Okay, and here it is. And so we don't have a way to create a room and then connect it back to Command. So that's why you've got to always start with Command when we're doing these things. All right, so now that we're in the room, we're going to go ahead and connect Zipforms. And the way you're going to do it is you're going to go up to your profile and go to Settings. And then this is going to bring up integrations. If by chance somehow you're in the standalone agent version of Docusign, which is the view that most of you are used to looking at using Colleen's, integrations will not be one of your choices. Okay? So we're going to go back to Rooms. Go back to your profile and settings, and then go to integrations. So you're going to put your Zipform username and password. I haven't used Zipforms for probably since we started using .loop for 5 or 6 years. So you're going to go to Zipform Plus. I didn't know my username, so I hit forgot username, went through a couple of emails until it finally hit, and then after that I hit forgot password and reset my password. Again, I suggest you using the same password across all of the stuff that's connected to Command, just because there's so many integrations that are now being worked and that are coming. Okay, so now that all that's connected, we can come here and get ready to prepare some paperwork. So let's start over from the very beginning, just so you can see the flow. So you got to remember that KW Command is built as a beginning to end platform. So leads come in, they get nurtured, cultivated, appointments set. The active status means you wrote an offer, you prepared listing paperwork. Under contract is you got either one of those two things under contract, and closed is closed. So that's the way the platform's built, which we're going to use Brevity for almost everything. What we're going to use Command for is the document preparation, the signing, the broker compliance, and the grain sheets. So in order to prepare paperwork, the first thing you need to do is add your contacts to the system. So you're going to add your contact. put the basic information in. If you will put in the same information on the email address at some point, we're going to have a connection that will automatically sync the rest of the stuff from Brivity into Command, but that email address has to be identical for both of them to see each other. So use the same email address as Brivity and then hit create. Now, so you're going to go back and you're going to search for her, open this contact record up, and now go to create opportunity. If you go to create opportunity first, you're going to have to add the client in. So if they're already in the system, you can do it this way. If they're not in the system, we need to work on the contact record first. And like I say, you can create the opportunity from within the contract record, which is nice. All right, so here's your basic information. This is a listing. Here's the client. If there was a co-seller, you would put him or her there. The opportunity name, just name it what you want for right now. Once we go under contract, the naming conventions that we use for the client folder are what's going to take over. You can put this information in. I think the only thing that I would really do is change it to active, and then we're going to be doing this when we are writing offers, so you can put it at showing or negotiations, whichever one applies. We're not going to utilize these right now, but we will at some point. So create opportunity. Now once the opportunity is created, it's going to show up here in the contact record. So then we're going to go to view details. Once we go to view details, we're going to prepare some paperwork for the offer. So the very first time that you're in here, you're going to see start a transaction. Again, when you hit start a transaction, it's going to connect to your Docusign rooms to create that room so you can prepare your documents. So as you can see, that contact record isn't here. So we're going to hit start a transaction. So here's a room created, here's the dashboard, and you're going to see one more card show up with her room created. There we go. Okay. So now that we're in, we're going to go to add. And here's where you're going to get your contract documents. So if we're preparing an offer or a listing for the first time, we're going to go to Zipforms. This is going to grab, if you've used Zipforms before, it's going to show all the files that you have in there from the past, but we're going to start with create. And here you're going to just name your room details. I would name it, so it's going to create a transaction in Zipform, so to keep them, so you can find them easily in case you ever do go to Zipform directly. I would name it the same thing as what you've named this. Which in this one, so seller is her last name. All right. So we're going to go create. And we're going to go seller, listing. If you wanted to write offer, last name, however you normally do it, that's fine for right now. So this is a listing, it's residential, we're going to hit create. So once it does that, it's going to give you access to your library. So we want to go to Zipform library, and then you've got your AAR library and your armless library. So this is a listing. So now you're just going to come in here and you're going to put in whatever documents that you need. So just going to add those two. Now, once you come in here, you're going to open it up and start to edit and enter some information. Now on mine, I'm getting this error on every single time I open a document. This library is good until 2020. NAR has kept it in place until then. So until I figure out what's causing this, you just hit skip and it's going to let you in. Alright, let's do this. Let's do the ER first. Alright, so this is one of the really nice things about Zipforms is the way it will populate your forms once you've started. So if you start to fill out your documents, and then let's say we had to go back in and add something else. Actually, let's So this is a profile sheet. So now we have the client's names in here. If you go back and add pretty much any document in that library, it's going to do the same thing for you. So if you forgot something, you can go back and add it. It will add those documents or add those names back to it. Let's do, not that we would do this, but let's didn't on that one. Let's see if this one works. There we go. So for most of the documents, it's gonna work like that for you. So let's say we're done. We've created, got all the paperwork filled out. We're ready for them to sign this ER. So then we're gonna go and we're gonna click the pen, which will take you into Docusign, into the envelope portion of it. So right here, I would name it something property offer specific, client specific. Here's your document. If you need to add more documents, you can. You can upload a document, like if you'd scanned in a document, you can put it in, or we can go straight to the room of the documents you just created and pull these back in. All right, and it doesn't like the addendum because there's no pre-tags on it. Okay. Okay, so now that we're in, we're going to add a recipient, and the best way is to go with the pre-tag rules. So we're going to go seller 1, that you're the seller's agent, seller 2, you're the seller's agent, and you're going to define where that's going to go. You're going to add selected. Put their email address in. They both need to sign. If you wanted to add yourself into this and receive a copy, you can. I don't think you need to though. Again, I would change the subject so it's something specific, and then click next. So the nice thing about using the pre-tagged roles is now all your tags, wherever they need to sign an initial, are already pre-tagged based on if you're working with your buyer or seller or whoever it is. So here's the ER, puts all of it into an envelope, and then once you're done reviewing everything, make sure nothing was missed, you can go ahead and hit send. After that, I mean, everything is just like Docusign. It's going to come back, and then you go from there. As far as getting the executed contract off to Renee, we'll work on that part next, once we get the opportunity section opened up properly in KW Command. So that's how we're going to create our paperwork. I know it's a lot to take in to get this up and running and started. If you have any questions at all, reach out to me. I'll walk you through it. There's many things about Zipforms and Docusign that are a lot better than what we used to use. So they're just going to be different. We just got to get used to it. As more and more functionality comes in, we will adjust the training a little bit to streamline some things. But for right now, this is what we're going to do. And that way you guys can get done what you need to get done. Again, if you have paperwork, if you've handwritten an offer, you can scan that information in. And for signatures, if you already have it executed, then we'll work on that'll go straight into KW Command, and we'll work on that in the next video. Thanks, guys.